The rain fell steadily over the skyline of New York City, streaking the glass of Caldwell Technologies' skyscraper like liquid silver. Streetlights reflected in puddles on the sidewalks, and the honking of distant traffic echoed through the rainy night. In the midst of it all, the towering office of Richard Caldwell glowed warmly, a small beacon of light in the storm. Inside, Richard Caldwell sat alone in his corner office on the 43rd floor. His eyes moved over the city below, glittering like a sea of stars, while the polished wood of his desk reflected the soft glow of the lamps. A folder labeled Confidential Project Athena lay before him, and he tapped his fingers nervously on its cover, lost in thought.
Sir.
The soft voice of Ethan Moore interrupted his thoughts. Ethan, his most trusted aide, stood at the doorway holding a stack of documents. His presence was always calm, precise, and unnervingly attentive.
Come in, Ethan,
Richard said, gesturing toward the chair opposite his desk. The rain continued to drum against the glass, a quiet percussion accompanying their conversation. Ethan walked in and took the seat, his eyes fixed on Richard, waiting patiently.
Project Athena. It's more than a product.
Richard began, leaning forward.
It's our future, and it's fragile. If this leaks, it could ruin everything we've worked for.
He studied Ethan's face, searching for signs of doubt or mischief. Ethan's lips curved into a faint, knowing smile, and Richard allowed himself a small, unguarded sigh of relief. Over the next few weeks, Ethan became an indispensable part of Richard's routine. He stayed late, ostensibly to help Richard prepare documents, yet often stepped into empty hallways to take discreet phone calls. He smiled and laughed with the employees, earning their trust while carefully learning the company's weaknesses. One evening, Richard invited Ethan to a private celebration of Athena's impending launch. Rain lashed against the windows, and the office lights reflected off the wet streets below.
Here's to Athena,
Ethan whispered, clinking his glass gently against Richard's. They both smiled, but only Richard believed in the friendship they shared. Richard revealed his deepest secret that night, a groundbreaking AI product ready to secure a massive government contract. He explained the financial projections, the risks, and the strategies to protect their competitive edge. Ethan listened intently, nodding at every word, while the faintest glint of calculation shimmered in his eyes. Weeks later, the boardroom became the stage for betrayal. A storm raged outside, lightning illuminating the tall windows.
You trusted me, sir. That was your mistake,
Ethan said, his voice calm, almost cold. Shock rippled across Richard's face as he realized that his confidant had sold critical company information to a rival firm. Richard's heart sank as the extent of the damage became clear. Projects were compromised, investments jeopardized, and Athena's launch was in jeopardy. Lila Harper, the CFO, stepped forward, fury burning in her eyes.
We can't let him get away with this,
She said firmly, casting Ethan a glare that froze him for a moment. Richard spent the following nights alone in the empty office. He walked past vacant desks, flickering monitors, and the scattered remnants of corporate chaos. Each step reminded him of the lesson painfully learned. Never reveal your secrets to anyone. Trust, once given, could be shattered in an instant. Ethan's triumph was short-lived. The rival company he had allied with quickly abandoned him when the risks became too high.
Alone in his office, he stared out at the city, realizing that betrayal leaves a bitter taste even when success seems within reach.
Finally, Richard stood once more by the floor-to-ceiling window of his office, looking over the city he had built, lost, and would rebuild. The rain had stopped, and the first rays of dawn glinted on the wet streets. He understood now that some lessons cost more than money. Trust is priceless, and losing it burns deeper than fire. Richard took a deep breath, straightened his shoulders, and prepared to rebuild, wiser and more cautious than before. Thank you for listening. If you liked this story, don't forget to like, comment, share, and subscribe. Your support helps me keep creating more stories for you.